Live from the Lady in Black, it's the Pasky's Cardiac Truck Series, Darlinton Death Fest. This broadcast being brought to you in part by Pasky Sports and More in the Greater Marietta, Ohio Metroplex. For all your entertainment needs, it's Pasky Sports and More. Tonight's overlay being brought to you by PZ Overlays. Paul Zoda providing some of the most beautiful overlays in all of iRacing. For more information on how you can get your own, you can find Paul Zoda on his Facebook page, PZ Overlays. And we cannot forget our good friends over at pH Aware. Pulmonary hypertension is one of the most difficult to diagnose terminal illnesses on the planet due to the fact that it masks itself as so many other terminal illnesses. By the time doctors can put the pieces together, one of the only options left is a double lung transplant. For more information on how you can get pH Aware, we ask that you go to pH Aware. Okay. We ask that you go to phaware.global. And apparently I am now an admin of the server. Well then, there's that. The Lady in Black, always entertaining as Hot Lap's getting ready to wind on down now as cars or trucks, I should say, making their way around one of the oldest facilities in all of NASCARdom. Anyways, Tony Trapasso up in the booth with you tonight. Rocking it solo tonight. My partner in crime, Mr. Sam Cooper Bennett, has other things that he needs to take care of, such as sleep, considering that normally these races go off at about 3, 4 in the morning, local time for him. So we're going to cut Sam some slack, and I'm going to pick it up tonight. Waiting on the first driver to go out on track right now, waiting to see who is what's going on here. Nobody wants to be the first one to lay down a time. Interesting. Very interesting. 10 minutes in the qualifying session. Plenty of time to lay down a lap. Nobody wants to be the first one to do so, though. As we're just sitting here playing the waiting game, folks. I see what it is. I kind of made a mistake when I logged in. I logged in as a driver and not a spectator, so I can't see who's on the track. But Chris Bouchard going to the top of the leaderboard currently. 66,000's too good over Parker Alexander. Chad Miko sitting up there. Brandon Stokes ripping one off. Kyle Gilbert. The usual suspects sitting kind of at the top of the field right now. 9 cars have taken time so far. And this is one of those tracks where you're flirting with disaster to try to get a fast lap in, so you kind of got to be a little conservative on your out lap. Mark Walker making his debut tonight in the 21, currently sitting 10th quick. And you can see from some of the times as they trickle across your screen that they are, for lack of a better term, conservative, shall we say. Chris Bouchard cranking one off, 29.3. Parker Alexander goes 29.3. Kyle Gilbert, 29.1. So you get a tenth of a second between first and third. And then you've got a huge drop-off 15 cars have taken time so far, and there's almost 2 full seconds separating all 15 drivers that have taken time. And that's kind of to be expected here, considering that you have to flirt with disaster to get a fast lap here at Darlington. The high line is rim riding. So you're really up there towards the safer barriers all the way through the corners. And one slight mistake and the lap's not going to count in qualifying. So something to keep an eye on during the race. As again, only looking like 15 cars or trucks have taken time so far. 16 now, as Ty Harris goes 15th quick. Travis Brown currently sitting 6th quick. He busted one off. Between Brandon Stokes in 4th and Chad Mikos in 5th, 2 1,000ths of a second. That is awesome that we've got some closeness going on throughout the field. You know, you got Stokes and Mikos separated by 2 1,000ths. Between Parker Alexander, Kyle Gilbert, Chris Bouchard, less than a 10th of a second. So look for those three to kind of be towards the front most of the night. They were the same guys that were leading the way during the hot lap session. Got about 5 minutes left, so if you've got to use a little driver's room, I would suggest doing so now. As again, you are watching a presentation of the Pasky's Cardiac Truck League. They do this every Monday night. First race of the chase tonight at Darlington. Of all the places to start the chase, they choose Darlington. Talk about a wild card. Stick around after the broadcast, too. Once the checkered flag flies, we will be talking to Karen Paskowich tonight. Once all of the formalities are out of the way, we've talked to the top three, and we've gotten KP's input on how he felt the race went. We will be talking to Mrs. Paskowich tonight, as she draws from the hat to decide where the season finale will be. So stay tuned for that one. Definitely not going to want to miss it. You know, looking at the top of the board so far, nothing has changed. KP has finally put in a lap. He's gone 8th quick. Mike Warren has gone 9th quick. And Sean Weaver rounds out your top 10. Bob Lacavara, your defending Xfinity Series champion, just normally runs on Friday nights, taking a couple off weeks right now. Currently in 11th quick. Frenchie going 12th quick. James McDavid, Wayne Carroll Jr., Johnny Antonucci, Ty Harris, and Mark Walker rounding out the 17 trucks that have actually taken time here tonight. We've got a pretty full field, too. $28 trucks here at Darlington, so something to keep an eye on. Current weather, track is hot and greasy. There's no other way to put it. 78 degree ambient air temperature, 104 degrees on the track. So that is a rather greasy racing surface. Just about 3 minutes left. So Butch Frazier going 18th quick. Jordan Berry jumps up to 7th. So at this time, we are going to ask that if everybody could please rise. Gentlemen, if you could please remove your hats. As U.S. Army retired and very good friend of both for broadcasting, Mr. Terry Adams brings us tonight's national anthem. Thank you, Terry, for that. And we're going to step away real quick for a word from our friends from Low Budget TV, and we'll come back with tonight's starting lineup.
Down into turn number 1. Another slide job and crossover. The brakes are glowing on that left front as we go 3 wide for the 3rd spot. Making sure they will pull up. Almost in intersection.
And we're back. And I'm lost. Oh, welcome to my hell. Anyways. Car's starting to grid up, or truck's starting to grid up right now. Starting up on the point. Going to be the California Kid, Chris Bouchard. Rocking the Hardy's paint scheme tonight. Nice throwback to, I think Cale Yarborough drove that. A few other, I'm drawing a blank on who else had that paint scheme back in the day. He's going to be joined on the front row with Parker Alexander, proud member of the Pennsylvania Posse. Row 2 is going to see Kyle Gilbert and Brandon Stokes, both out of the Mid-South, rolling off. Chad Mikos out of Illinois and Travis Brown out of Georgia rolling off in row number 3. Row 4 is going to see the Canadian Invader Jordan Berry joined with the Ohio transplant from New York State, Mr. Kevin Paskowich. Another Ohio native, Mike Warren, is going to be joined with the New Englander, Sean Weaver. Pennsylvania Posse member Bob Lacavara is going to be joined with Floridian Francois Pelletier. Mid-South's James McDavid and another Pennsylvania Posse member, Wayne Carroll, make up row number 7. Row 8 is going to see Johnny Antonucci, the Jersey Jet, joined with Ty Harris out of Virginia. Ohio's Mark Walker and Mid-South's Butch Frazier are going to roll off in row number 9. Row 10 is going to see Dylan Moskowitz and out of Texas, and another Jersey boy, the world's fastest hippie, Mr. Mike Whitaker. Tanner Koster and the little rugger from down under, Brad Allison, in row 11. Row 12 is going to see Midwest Nate Seifker and another California kid, David Bigger. Florida's Ray Black Jr. and Ohio's Chad Witt in row number 13. 14 is going to see Tom Wagner starting shotgun on the field with Hoot Baker. I'm not in this. So as the field rolls down the back straightaway here at Darlington, the Lady in Black. Buckle up, folks. 147 laps, the scheduled distance here tonight. Don't look at me. I didn't get the stage ends as the field works its way through the 3-4 complex. All we've got left to say is Grandpa, Papa Viagra, it's time to get it on with the Lady in Black. Bouchard holds the field down, finally rolls into the throttle as they come off of turn number 4, and we are underway. Alexander and Kyle Vincent duking it out already. Vincent slotting in behind as you see how close they are to that safer barrier working through the corners. That is flirting with disaster if I ever saw it. Good grief. The field already starting to get a little bit strung out as everybody's trying to find a hole to just kind of ride in as Brandon Stokes goes to the inside of Gilbert. Taking the Harpoon Designs 27 Toyota to the third slot right now. Gilbert just kind of riding. Knows this is a long race, as everybody does. Got some battling going on already with Weaver and Pelletier. They've already worked their way into the top 10. And let's talk real quick about Jordan Berry's truck. It was about a year ago that the Humboldt Broncos hockey team, unfortunately, was involved in a horrific bus crash. And this coming week marks the opening of the season after the team had to rebuild. So, Humboldt strong, go Broncos, as you know, we're hoping that the start of this season helps bring a little bit of closure to the fans and families of the Humboldt, Colorado Broncos team. Meanwhile, up towards the front, Chris Bouchard is just flat checked out. 3/4 of a second to the good over Parker Alexander right now, as these guys are just getting it. Flat out getting it. Yellow flag is out. And Kevin, what the? Okay. So let's take a look at what happened to Kevin Paskowitz driving the Clyde Total Chicken Pit Special. Looks like he just lost it coming off of 2. Just bangs the wall and around she goes. Very reminiscent to some of the crashes that happened in the Stroker Race movie. So a tribute paint scheme on that truck tonight, as the thespian community lost one of the all-time greats, Mr. Burt Reynolds, this past week. And the following day, we also lost the $1 Million Man. For the life of me, I'm drawing a blank right now, so if anybody in the chat wants to pipe up and let me know whose name I'm forgetting, feel free. So wholesale pit stops right now, as this track is notorious for eating tires. Bigger, Frazier, and Black all staying out. Hoot Baker staying out as well. So 3 Toyotas and a Chevy electing to not go down pit road. Chris Bouchard into his stall. Looks like he's taking 4 Mr. Feelgoods on the Hardee's number 28. And Parker Alexander with a drag race off pit road. And give it to Bouchard by half a fender. But that is going to turn the lead of the race over to the driver of the Southwest Air 57. That is, of course, David Bigger. And Bigger, after leading the lap, taking it down pit side. Looks like he's going pit side. Butch Frazier going pit side. Ray Black Jr. joining them. Hoot Baker has already gone pit side. So that is going to hand the lead of the race back over to Chris Bouchard. Who was unable to join us with the throwback scheme last week, as Yeah, it is what it is. Pasky has burned his fast repair early. And that paint scheme brought to you by none other than Mr. Ronnie Osmer tonight. Ronnie doing a whole bunch of throwback schemes and came up with that one. Hey, what can I say? College students have a lot of free time on their hands. Kyle Gilbert busted for speeding. Well, let's check in with Mark Walker. Making his Pasky's Cardiac Truck Series debut tonight. Taking it down pit side as the field starts to form up 2 by 2. Lights are out on the pace car. And again, iRacing, if you're listening, can we please have the truck on the pavement? Field working its way through the 1-2 complex. Bouchard, Alexander, Stokes, Brown, Barry, Pelletier, Siefker, Carroll, Lacavara, and Coster rounding out your top 10. Field working its way into the 3-4 complex. Time to buckle it up tight. We're 9 laps into this one. We're going to get the restart, start lap 10. Pace car makes that hard left turn. Bouchard holding down a little bit. Finally pulls the trigger when he can get it straight. And it's a drag race behind him with Parker Alexander and Brandon Stokes going side by side into turn number 1. Stokes sails it in there on the inside. Alexander hanging tough on the high side. And don't count out Travis Brown yet. Brown still all over the tailgate of Stokes right now as Safeger looking to the inside of Pelletier. These guys are starting to get racy early. As Antonucci and Pasky battling it out right now. Pasky on the high side. Antonucci slips up going through the 3-4 complex. Sorry, that's 1 and 2. And Pasky now working on Bob Lacavara. This is your battle for 10th. And Lacavara gets it all wrong, gets into his teammate, and we're back under caution. No, we're not. How is that not a caution? How was that not a caution? Okay. We're not under caution.
Yellow, yellow, yellow.
There it is. So apparently admins realizing what was going on, and they did throw a caution. Okay. Excuse me 1 second, folks. I need to get something off of that screen and put it over here. We're going to put the ticker back up. And only a handful of laps on their after the last pit stop, and just about everybody bringing it down pit side this time for Mr. Feelgoods and some fresh Sunoco Racing fuel. Looks like Michael Warren calling it quits. No Moss for Mike. As Brad Allison stays out to get that bonus point for leading the lap. And again, Chad Witt's truck, I've always loved that paint scheme. The only thing is, he needs to have an 11 on it, not a 77. I said it. The front of Tom Wagner's truck looks like it's been through a war already. And there is the world's fastest hippie, repping the fabulous Hudson Hornet. He did what? Thanks, Mike. I needed that tonight. Oh, privately. Never a dull moment when Mike Whitaker's in the race. Some of the most amazing paint schemes ever. I love that paint scheme. Fabulous Hudson Hornet and repping the movie Cars, which, if you haven't seen the movie, you can't call yourself a race fan. I'm sorry. So, oh boy. Bigger having trouble there. First truck a lap down. Not exactly sure what happened to Dave. Chad Witt having the blinkies right now. As he has control of the field. We're about to see what the difference is between 9 laps and new tires. Chad Witt, 9 laps into his current tire stint, as is Tom Wagner. And I'm thinking these guys are about to get gobbled up wholesale by the trucks behind them. Only because this track is notorious for being rough on tires. For those of you who are at least around my age, you remember growing up watching the Pepsi Challenger and the Hardee's Chevy, the Pepsi Challenger Buick and the Hardee's Chevy Monte Carlos just throwing bombs at each other back in the early 80s. Darrell Waltrip and Cale Yarborough driving those vehicles back in the day. So it's good to see some of the old throwback paint schemes rocking tonight. Pace car makes the hard left turn. Witt has control of the field, holds him down quite a bit. Finally, he's able to get it pointed straight and
Green.
finally pulls the trigger, and oh, that's not good. That's really not good. Stacks the entire field up behind him. That could have ended a lot more poorly than it did, and there it goes. And Travis Brown and Tom Wagner getting it all wrong. Let's back up and see what happened with Wagner there. He's side by side. Yeah, bounces it off the safer barrier. Again, you're flirting with disaster to run the fast line here. We are going to pause it right there. We're going to take a look at who is in the 22, I think. Sure we are. And I'm lost again. I'm sorry, folks. Bear with me. Yep, that is the 22. That's Wayne Carroll Jr. Here we are. He steps out of line to stay off of Pelletier, gets into Siefker. Siefker eats the inside wall and gets it. Oh, brother. Siefker pancakes the left side of that truck on the pit wall. Everybody else doing a great job to avoid him. And so we are back under caution. So place your bets. Is how many are we going to have tonight? And I'm going to tell you right now, I'm stopping the broadcast at 15. I can't sit through another one of those, folks. I'd rather just slam certain parts of my anatomy in a broken sliding glass door than watch that happen. So Frenchie in control of the field. He's got Jordan Berry with him, Kevin Paskowitz, Tanner Koster, Kyle Vincent, Sean Weaver, James McDavid, Ty Harris, Brad Allison, and Parker Alexander, rounding out your top 10. As Jordan Berry getting the blinkies. And for those of you who drive RC cars, getting the blinkies in iRacing means something completely different than it does in RC. It's basically a spec class ESC that has what they call blinking mode. That means you can't fiddle with the parameters in the speed controller. So everybody's kind of on a more even playing field in that class. As the lights go out in Georgia, on the pace car in Darlinton, South Carolina. You are, of course, watching the Pasky's Cardiac Truck Series Darlington Death Fest. And I'm actually kind of impressed that we haven't seen a first you say it, then you do it kind of moment yet tonight. Give it time, though. I'm sure it'll happen. Field working its way down the back straightaway here at the Lady in Black. Pace car getting ready to make that hard right turn. Francois Pelletier going to have control of the field, and we go back to green. And he holds him down, too. Finally pulls the trigger, and Jordan Berry doesn't go with him. Here comes Paskowitz. And I'm guessing those two guys were waiting until they could make sure they had... Oh, there we go again. Kyle Gilbert, thank you for saving that one. Way off the pace now, though. And he is about to get swallowed up wholesale as here comes Parker Alexander around Tanner Koster. Or does he? Alexander trying to slot back in. Koster knows Alexander might have a little bit quicker of a truck, just giving him the preferred line, letting him reel those guys in. There goes Brandon Stokes as well. And who? David Bigger having problems. Let's see what happened to Dave. Hauls it off down the back straightaway into turn number 3. He goes, got a teammate right in front of him. And, really? You don't say. Okay. Ray Black Jr. having a hand in that one, too. As he gets into it with Chad Witt. And, oh! And Bigger, nowhere to go, just pile drives his teammate. And then connection issues. Well then. Working caution number 4 on lap 25. As Pelletier, Pasky, and the rest of the kids are going to bring them down pit side this time. We are going to step away for this word from iRacing.
I want to leap over buildings, want to fly over the shores, faster than a lightning flash, rushing through the cool night air. Oh, oh, oh. So start ignition, count to 0. I just wanna be a superhero.
Hey, what's up, guys? Scott Speed here at the iRacing headquarters. Some exciting news about the upcoming Rallycross World Championship. They've got a wild card entry, and yours truly is going to get that spot. See you guys out on the track.
And we're back, and I apparently am still having issues with stuff and things. Butch Frazier staying out, 12 laps on his tires. Wayne Carroll Jr. staying out, 7 laps on his tires. Francois Pelletier winning the battle off pit road. Kyle Gilbert in 4th. Parker Alexander, Brandon Stokes, Kevin Pasky losing a couple spots. Good to see the throwback Hooters scheme on Butch's truck. Old school Caterpillar scheme, that's Wayne Carroll Jr. And yes, that is on, was the paint scheme on the Dodge that won a couple of Daytona 500s. I believe Sterling Marlin had one of them. And Ward Burton had the other. I'm surprised to see none of the leaders have taken that outside line yet. Interesting to see how this one's playing out as lights are out on the pace car. Frazier with his teammate right behind him.
Hang on, we're not going green.
And apparently we're not going green. So we've had 6 lead changes so far. for 4 cautions. The lights are back out on the pace car. Looks like we got everybody where they need to be now. Michael Warren, your first retiree from the race. Butch Frazier showing the way. As the field works its way into the 3-4 complex, we are going to turn them loose momentarily here. Just waiting for the pace car to make that hard left turn onto pit road. There it goes, and here we go. Frazier has the button and pulls the trigger, and Pelletier going with him, fighting it a little bit, and Frazier spins the tires. That's going to be a black flag for Wayne Carroll Jr., I'm afraid. As that was Pelletier hip checking Parker Alexander. Wow. A lot of damage on that 39 right now. As Alexander goes to the inside of Pelletier. Wayne Carroll Jr. still in control of this one. Stokes now to the inside of Alexander, as is Paskowitz. Paskowitz far enough back that's not going to happen, but Stokes able to get the slide job done and tags the bumper of Pelletier. Gets him a little loose coming off of 4, slots right in behind him. A little bit of bump drafting going on at 170 miles an hour as we haul off into turn number 1. Alexander to the inside of Stokes. Stokes throws a huge block, and we are back under caution. And Chris Bouchard's truck looks like it's been through a war. What happened there? Antonucci bangs the wall, and Bouchard cannot save it. And see what the chopper picked up there. There's Antonucci banging the wall, bangs Alexander. Alexander into, that's Bouchard into Travis Brown. Ouch. That's Tom Wagner getting a piece of it. As was Ray Black Jr. getting a piece of it. Let's take a look at what happened with Wagner here. Goes low, goes high. Guess is wrong. That's a shame. And Mike Whitaker in the fabulous Hudson Hornet gonna... Jesus Christ. Every time I read that tailgate. Whitaker gonna stay out and lead to get a bonus points for leading the lap there. Kyle Gilbert going to win the battle off pit road, coming out in second place. Whitaker avoiding the lap cars who are going down pit side. And And there is the bonus point there for Whitaker leading the lap. And now, okay, I was not live. It's going to hand the lead of the race back over to Kyle Gilbert. Wayne Carroll Jr. in second. Brandon Stokes, Butch Frazier, Kevin Paskowicz, Tanner Koster, Ty Harris, Chad Mikos, Brad Allison in ninth, and Jordan Berry rounding out your top 10. As we're checking in with everybody that's over in the chat. And the tailgate on Whitaker's truck says he did what in a cup? And if you don't get that reference, we can't be friends anymore. So lights are out on the pace car as Kyle Gilbert gonna show the way. Wayne Carroll Jr. sitting in second. Everybody on fresh skins. A little bit of left front fender damage on Carroll's truck. Some drivers have already burned their fast repairs, so they've got to be a little bit careful from here on out. They don't call this the Lady in Black for nothing.
Green flag, green flag.
We are back underway as Gilbert pulls the trigger. Carroll goes with him. And Stokes slots in front of Paskowicz. There is Chad Mikos working all over the back bumper. And really, guys, really? Bob Lacavara getting it wrong. Boot Baker catching a piece of it. Parker Alexander catching a big piece of it. So we're back under caution again. If you two would like to join the Bofa Broadcasting team, let me know. Maybe like Junior having a toe. That was a hard shot. So. Current caution. Calamity Corner strikes again, turn 2. I hate this track. I really do. This is one of the 3 tracks in this sim that I loathe. And the messed up part is they're all ovals, which is weird for me being an oval person to say. Let me rephrase that. 2 of them are ovals, 1 of them is a triangle. And if you guessed Concord, you guessed wrong. I love Concord. I love me some Concord. So Parker Alexander pit farming it, Chris Bouchard pit farming it. One of the paint schemes we didn't get a chance to really talk about last week, the one on Kyle Gilbert's truck, is a nod to the paint scheme that Terry Labonte won the NASCAR Cup Championship with back in 83, 4. Early 80s. So we are, let me make sure I'm live, and I am. And I dare say that we've already had our first stage end. Don't bother asking me who won, I have no clue. Not something I was informed about as to what stages were going to end where, and nobody seems to tell the broadcaster anything. So, do I sound a little salty tonight, folks? Because I am. The lights are out on the pace car, and I'm definitely not a happy camper right now. You know, some of these drivers are probably getting a little salty. Pace car is in. Gilbert has control of the field. Can we get a lap in, boys? Let's find out. As Gilbert pulls the trigger, we are back underway. Wayne Carroll Jr. going with him. Brandon Stokes trying to hang tight. Stokes to the inside of Carroll right now. Pasky hanging tough right there. It's got Ty Harris all over his tailgate. And Harris has Coster with him. Hey, how about that? We got a lap in. Harris, Coster, and Miko slugging it out for the final slot in the top 5 as Coster goes to the inside of Harris. Harris hanging tough on that second lane. And he's going to bring Mikos with him. The inside, not really where you want to be here at Darlington. About 3 feet off that outside wall. It is the fast line around here. Brad Allison slugging it out right now with Jordan Berry and Nate Siefker. And don't count out Tom Wagner. As a couple of those trucks look like they've already been through a war, and we're not even to the halfway point yet. And Tom Wagner getting the blinkies. Not a good sign at 170 miles an hour. And Seifter goes by Allison. Wagner blinked right through him. Okay. That's a pucker moment if I ever saw one. Meanwhile, Chad Mikos all over the tailgate of Ty Harris right now. Harris has to chase it down the track coming off of 2. That's going to let Mikos get the position. Here comes Koster as well. Harris going to give chase, and here comes Jordan Berry. And right now, this field's starting to get more strung out than a frat boy on a bender. Tom Wagner all over the back bumper of Jordan Berry right now. Gets it a little bit wrong going through the 3-4 complex, able to gather it up. As that's one of those moves that could possibly change the flavor of your fire suit. A little bit of chocolate, a little bit of lemonade, if you know what I'm saying. And let's check in. What do we got going on here? Chad Witt having connection issues. As Dylan Moskowitz having all sorts of issues. It goes a lap down to Kyle Gilbert there. Looks like Dylan's having connection issues as well. Welcome to week 13, kids. And there's our close one on the track right now. That's Ty Harris, Jordan Berry. That is your battle for 7th. Ty doesn't seem like he's that comfortable running that close to the safer barrier. Giving himself at least a little bit of margin for error, but definitely losing some speed. As Berry all over his tailgate right now. And Berry better be careful because that's Nate Seifter right behind him. And if I'm not mistaken, the paint scheme that's on Seifter's truck right now is, I believe that's the last paint scheme that Morgan Shepherd won a cup race with. Driving for the Wood Brothers at the time. And again, these guys are just getting it right now. Everybody's 19 laps into their current stint as we've got to be getting ready for green flag stops, I would assume, with how bad the tires wear out here. The question is somebody going to step on their own junk before that or after that? Everybody between 19 and 20 laps right now. Jordan Berry sails it in on Ty Harris. Harris knows he's quicker, just lets him go. Trying to conserve the tires right now. Berry and Seifter just both check out, as now they're going to try to reel in Chad Mikos. No, I'm sorry, that's Tanner Koster. That is 1.8 seconds up the road to them. as Mikos and Koster are just slugging it out right now. That is your battle for 5th. And Koster starts to walk away as there it goes. Tom Wagner getting it all wrong as
Yellow.
what happened there. Bangs the wall coming off of 2, and Brown collects Wagner, and wow. Allie almost saved it. Let's watch what Chris Bouchard had to do to avoid that one. Here's Chris coming down the front straightaway. He sees the smoke by now. Knows what's going on. Jumps on the binders. And dirt track, Darlington stripe, Daytona stripe. That could have been a whole lot worse than it was. 23 laps. Congratulations, people. You had a good run going. I applaud you for doing so. And I thank you for doing so. As we are going to step away very quickly here for this word from iRacing. And we are back at the Lady in Black, the Pasky's Cardiac Truck Series Darlington Death Fest. Joining me in the booth right now, Mr. Hoot Baker. Hoot, what's the special on the food truck tonight?
Oh, we ain't served much, man. We just got some muskrat down there if anybody wants to try that. I just thought I'd pop up here. I'd sitting down there I still got about 22 minutes to go on the engine repair. I figured I'd get out and stretch my legs and walk up here and see what y'all up to.
Well, we appreciate it, Hoot. It was getting kind of lonely up here, just talking to myself, or talking with myself, I should say. And you know you're getting old and senile when you have arguments with yourself and you're not sure who wins. That's just usually never a good sign. But a whole bunch of trucks waiting to get the wave around right now. Chris Bouchard, 19 laps on his stint, waiting to get the wave around. It's going to put him back on the lead lap. But for how long? That's the question. As everybody else on the lead lap is... They've got 4 Mr. Feelgoods on that truck. As the lights go out on the pace car, Kyle Gilbert going to bring him back to green, going to have the button. Brandon Stokes, Kevin Paskowicz, Tanner Koster, Chad Mikos, Nate Seifert, Jordan Berry, Ty Harris, Wayne Carroll Jr., and David Bigger rounding out your top 10. So, how tough is it out there tonight, Hoot?
Well, you know, it's always tough for me. I'm always in the back and everything, and it's just getting through those wrecks. I haven't got through a single one tonight. I've been involved in 3 of them, and you know, it is what it is out there. It's tonight is definitely a night you want to be up top 10, getting through it. Rest of it is just a mess.
Well, they call it the track too tough to tame for a reason. As pace car makes a hard left turn, and Gilbert has control of the field. Holds him down, finally pulls the trigger.
Green.
And we are back underway. And Stokes getting a decent jump. Costner and Paskowicz racing it out side by side as they haul off into turn number 1. Paskowicz lets off a little bit. And Paskowicz now has his teammate Siefker behind him.
Yeah, you know, it's one of those tracks where, you know, it's nice having teammates and all, but it's not necessarily built for that. But definitely doesn't hurt when you're working on, like you said, tires, pit strategy, and all that.
Well, you know, your teammate's less likely to, what do they call it, the dump and run here?
Oh, definitely. You know, everybody's on the radio with each other, and, you know, when you can understand what everybody else is doing, you know, it makes it a little hard on everybody else when they're not on, you know, on exactly that type of thing that's going on. But, you know, it's going to work.
It's going to work. And Wayne Carroll Jr. right now hanging tough with Parker Alexander, who is a man on a mission right now. They do the Darlington Snake, which is something we normally see at Indy. As, hang on to her, David Bigger. David had to chase her down the track, going through the 1-2 complex. We stay green, and that will definitely change the flavor of your fire suit.
Well, you know, one thing that's coming in here is, you know, during practice and qualifying and everything, everybody's, you know, more concerned about the walls and this and that. But generally, that's not what you see here. It's not so much the walls; it's more about the more of the contact here. That's what's causing the issues.
Well, part from column A, part from column B is every crash that we have seen so far has been somebody bouncing off the wall and into another truck.
Well, that's the advantage you had that I ain't seen, because generally when I see it, it looks like by the time I get into it, it's just another car and another car. So
yeah,
you know,
all you see is smoke and food by the time you get to it. As we're watching Chad Mikos work on the backside of Nate Siefker right now, that's your battle for 5th. And right in front of him, Paskowicz in 3rd, Costner in 4th. Those two seem to be holding court right now as Kyle Gilbert has checked out to a half-second lead. Brandon Stokes in 2nd. And Paskowicz 2.8 back from them as there goes Mikos to the inside of Siefker. Not where you're going to want to try to make the pass. Inside, not going to work here tonight. As definitely about 4 feet off that wall is the fast way around this place.
yeah, overall, what I've seen out there, and a little bit I've been involved with, you know, as far as bumping doors and things like that, everybody's been pretty good about it. But like you said, I guess if people get up in that wall, and then that starts a mess, and that kind of takes all that out of it. But you know, once everybody gets up to beating doors, this and that, everybody's pretty good about it so far.
Absolutely. We've got some really...
Yellow.
Ah, crap. Who is it? Francois Pelletier pointing the wrong way on a one-way street. Let's see what happened to Frenchie. Coming through the 1-2 complex. Just... netcode? And Pelletier disappears. And hand grenades the engine when he comes to a stop. So, a lot of netcode tonight. Welcome to week 13, folks. And of course, all of our racers and fans that are in the path of the hurricane, we ask that you do be safe, and just that's all we can ask is please just be safe. But we had a pretty decent run going there, Hoot. About 10 laps into her. And I'll tell you, the one cat out there that was begging for a caution, Chris Bouchard, as he was 30 laps on his tires.
Well, like I was telling the fellas there in practice, in qualifying, we've seen it at these tracks time and time again. It's going to be, I think, a lot of cautions early, and then as everybody just, gets tired of it and settles down a little bit, it's not going to be as bad on the second half.
Yeah, you're not wrong there. But it's when you come to a track like this where there's no place to hide. There really isn't. This is one of those tracks that you've got a wall to your inside and a wall to your outside. Good luck. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say it's just a skinny track. I mean, there just ain't no way around saying it.
Think of it as, for lack of a better analogy, think of it as if they banked Martinsville, you pretty much have Darlington. It's a very tight, paperclip-like track. It's just, and you see where that yellow line is, that was originally supposed to be the racing surface. They were supposed to use the outer portion of the track where these guys are racing. When this track was originally designed, that was supposed to be the runoff. But somebody found out that if you run up there, you can run a whole lot faster. And that's where the racing line became. But would like to invite everybody to join us on Wednesday night, as Top Fuel Racing is going to take a week off. And we are going to be, Sam and I are hosting a special event at Michigan with the Lotus 79. And you're probably thinking to yourself, well, Michigan doesn't have a road course layout. You're right. We're running it on the oval. Because I'm pleased to announce, and I know Sam's going to kill me for taking away the thunder on this one, but Bofa Broadcasting Classic IndyCar Series is coming to the Sunday night near you. And we are doing a test race on Wednesday night at Michigan. If you'd like to join us, it's going to be in the open hosted session. Fixed setup series. Michael Jeans and I worked for quite a while figuring out a setup that is going to be racy but yet stable. And if you've never driven the 79 on an oval, you kind of owe it to yourself, because that's where that car, in my opinion, really comes into its own. Hood, if you're not busy on Wednesday night and you'd like to join us for that event, you're more than welcome.
Yeah, I appreciate it, and we'll see what goes on. Like I was typing there on the chat, I'm kind of in line down here in Richmond, Virginia. We don't know. We're definitely going to get something out of that storm, and unfortunately where it's tracking, I won't be on the forward end of that, how it spins. So I'm probably going to get most of the wind around this area if it don't hit us dead on.
Well, just hunker down and be safe, but if you're able to make it, we're more than happy to have you. And anybody listening right now, if you have the Lotus 79 and Old Michigan, we're not doing the new track yet because I'm not sure how that one's going to play out. But we will be running the old layout at Michigan, the old worn track where we have great racing.
Yeah, I was going to say, when you get a chance there, Tony, I'm not fully involved in it, but maybe once we get green here, get down into the standings and how this is affecting everything.
I don't have the standings in front of me. But pace car is in. Gilbert has the button one more time. Everybody on fresh tires this time as he pulls the trigger, and we are back underway at the Darlington Death Fest. Gilbert and Paskowitz going side by side. I'm sorry, that's Seifker and oh, they get into each other. Let's go back and see what happened. It looked like Seifker may have gotten a bump from Mikos. Or, I'm sorry, Paskowitz may have gotten a bump from Mikos. Let's see what the chopper picked up on that one.
Yeah, I can't really tell because I'm not seeing exactly live there, but it looked like he might have got bumped up a little bit there.
It
KP
may
might
have
got bumped up.
It looked like it may have been netcode. We're doing a chase cam right now on Pasky. It didn't look like there was contact until Pasky and Seifker got into it. But wow.
Yeah, you might be right. I think it might be a little netcode there on the number 8. And I don't think he hit him.
It didn't look like he hit him, but it's still week 13. Anything's possible. Like I said, it could be netcode. It could be just the fact that my computer sucks. I freely admit this. But yeah, that's a rough one. You know, Pasky has already burned his fast repair, so look for him to pit farm the chicken pit special. As we are back live. Yeah, Pasky going pit side.
Yeah, it's it's just hard to tell because generally on this track you're not going to have on a start like that you're generally not going to have somebody running over somebody else, but you just don't know. Like you said, sometimes you can't tell unless you're in that car.
And from the back bumper, it doesn't look like Pasky got hit there. And I'm trying to find Mikos right now. Seifker has put it behind the wall. The front bumper of Mikos' truck, you could chalk that one up to when Seifker and Pasky came down in front of him after they made contact. So it's hard to tell there, but it doesn't look like the back bumper of Pasky's truck is really caved in. So it could be, if it wasn't netcode, it was just an oops. Either way, if you're playing the at-home drinking game and you haven't died yet, it's time for your 9th shot, ladies and gentlemen. So, what's the over-under on the pace car running out of gas tonight, Boot?
Yeah, copy that. And right before I get back in the car here in a few minutes, I did go pull up the standings there. And Ronnie, of course, is number 1, and he's not racing anymore. Matt Kleinschmidt, then KP, Brendan Stokes, John Jenkins, Tanner Coster, Jeff Meyer, Chris Bouchard, Dylan Moskowitz, and Chad Wood going to round out your top 10 coming in tonight.
The question is, who outside of the top 10 has wins? And correct me if I'm wrong, but this is the last race before the chase, correct?
I'm thinking, yes, I think we only got one more. The only person I'm showing outside the top 10 there that might be in there, we got Parker Alexander. He's got 2 wins.
But how many starts?
5 starts. And going further down, we got Nate Seifker. He's got 1 win with 6 starts. So
I'm thinking those 2 are not going to be able to make the chase just based on the number of starts that they have. As Kyle Gilbert pulls the trigger and we are back underway. A lot of shuffling going on as Mikos and Jordan Berry go side by side. Wayne Carroll Jr. and Ty Harris working to the inside of Barry now. And Barry kind of just lets him go as Harris bangs the safer barrier. Kills a ton of momentum in that truck. That's going to let Wayne Carroll Jr. and Tom Wagner by. And here comes Travis Brown as well. The top four have just flat checked out. Travis Brown working on the back bumper right now of Ty Harris. And there it goes. Oh, these guys are trying to wreck. There it goes. Ty Harris is around. What happened to Ty? Let's go back and take a quick look there. It was Wagner getting into Harris. Harris fighting it down the back straightaway, trying to save it. Out of the racing line, and we stay green, luckily. Quickest way to piss off your broadcaster, bringing out another caution this early.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm talking to my guys down on the track there, and I still don't see a caution flag, so...
Well, he was out of the racing line, so it's not going to throw one. And there's... Oh! Wagner's trying to widen turn 2 for us. And now he's got the blinkies. Not what you want to see at 170 miles an hour. There's the truck in front of you just disappear. And look who's back in the top 10. It's our old friend in the Hardee's 28, Mr. Chris Bouchard, our pole sitter.
Yeah, and Chris is coming in on the number 8 position there, and he does have 1 win, so I'm thinking maybe he's sitting kind of in the catbird seat right now.
He is. He's just got to finish tonight, and you know, basically he's locked in. He's got the start. Jesus, hang on to her, kid.
All right there, Tony. I got about 3.5 minutes. My engine's going to be fixed, so I'm going to start heading on back down to the car and see if we can get back in there and turn a few more laps.
Well, best of luck to you, Hoot, and thanks for joining me in the booth for what you did.
Yeah, copy that, and I'm liable to be back up here in again in a few minutes, so let's just see how it goes.
Looks like Tom Wagner's taking it down. If he's going to park it, tell him to come on up. So Kyle Gilbert showing the way. Brandon Stokes sitting in second, and Parker Alexander third. They are over a second to the good over Chad Mikos right now, who is 4 seconds to the good over Travis Brown. So Brown's just got to hold court as we are just past the halfway point. And that's Tanner Coster working on Wayne Carroll Jr. He's got Chris Bouchard right there. He's getting out of the way. Knows Bouchard is on the move. Bouchard up into second. Coster back to 8th. And now it's Bouchard's turn to work on Carroll. Bouchard trying to get the run off of 2. It's going to be a drag race down the back straightaway. And Bouchard going to the inside. Interesting to see if he can make this one stick. Slide job through the middle of 2, 3, and 4. And Bouchard on a charge right now. Has some of the newest tires on the track. So look for him to just motor. That's what a 5-lap difference in tires looks like, folks. But it's a big ask, as Bouchard now has to reel in Travis Brown at 2.2 seconds. Really, guys? Nope, not him. Who is it? I'm looking for it. That was Brandon Stokes. What happened to Stokes? Let's back it up straightaway. Here he is coming down the back straightaway. We're currently running in second. Bangs the wall coming out of 4, and around she goes. That brings out caution number 10. 58 laps remaining. Everybody going pit side this time. Butch Frazier stays out. There's Johnny Antonucci, who is 4 laps down. That is the 03 of Brad Allison in front of him. Allison 1 lap down. Dylan Moskowitz is up there, 2 laps down. Francois Pelletier 3 laps down. So, battle off pit road. Give the nod to Kyle Gilbert. Parker Alexander coming out in, well, soon to be second. As Butch Frazier takes it pit side. And that was a caution that Chris Bouchard desperately needed. Make sure that we're live, and we are. So anyways, let's just check it in with the chat right now. You know, Mark, I don't have an answer for you on that one as far as what setup is in the truck. Not 100% certain. As Chris Bouchard looks like he's going pit side. No, just getting the hell out of the way. So lights go out on the pace car. Kyle Gilbert, Parker Alexander, Chris Bouchard, Chad Mikos, Wayne Carroll Jr., Travis Brown, Brandon Stokes, Kevin Paskowitz, Nate Siefker, and Tanner Koster rounding out your top 10, as we are going to be going back live on lap 94 of 147. This, of course, is part of Pasky's Cardiac Truck Series Darlington Death Fest. And for those of you who've been watching since the drop of the green, you understand why we're calling it that. Pace car makes the hard left turn. Gilbert has the button, and we are back live.
Green flag, green flag.
Chris Bouchard got a great jump on that one, as he's now side by side with Parker Alexander. New tires on both those trucks. Alexander able to keep it wound up on that second lane. Here comes Chad Mikos as well. And slide job from Bouchard. Just able to slot in front and not get run over by Mikos. Mikos apparently saw it was coming. As now Mikos under attack from Travis Brown. Brown trying to get a run off of 2. Going to use some draft down the back chute. And not really a big surprise at who's leading this piece, as Kyle Gilbert was the man to beat in the hot lap sessions. And he's got clean track in front of him. Bouchard dropping a little bit off of Parker Alexander. Bouchard slotting into third, and there it goes. And James McDavid getting it. Oh! That's no way to treat a box of Krispy Kremes. Let's watch that again. Gets into it with the 77 of Witt. Goes down onto the apron, comes back up, bangs the wall, and just punted. And that brings out caution number 11. Yeah. Well then. It's going to hand control of the race over to David Bigger in the 57. Been a rough night for Dave tonight. So good to see him back up towards the front. Unfortunately, that's going to not allow his teammate to get a wave around. So Bob Lacavara back on the lead lap 2. Good to see that. Bob taking it down pit side this time. And Brad Allison getting the lucky dog. Putting him back on the lead lap. So working caution number 11. Let me make sure I'm live. And it's getting to that point in the night, folks, where my give a damn is starting to bust. So, yeah. Not a happy camper right now. Inside 50 to go, though, so that's a plus. Put this out there right now. If you guys can keep it green the rest of the way, I will give a free paint scheme to the entire field that is still running on the lead lap at the checkers. But you got to stay green the entire way, ladies and gentlemen. And the only car you can't choose is the LMP1 Audi. Screw that paint scheme. That template gives me heartburn just thinking about it. For those of you who haven't seen the iRacing template for the LMP1 Audi, yeah, you're looking at it going, how the hell am I going to paint this? No. Any car but that. As the lights are out on the pace car, David Bigger's going to have the button. Kyle Gilbert with fresh tires starting on the outside. So Bigger gambling right now. 8-lap difference on the tires. What I find even more interesting is none of the leaders have taken that outside line tonight. And we are back underway as Bigger pulls the trigger. Yeah, that kind of rhymed, didn't it? And Stokes to the inside of Bouchard. They're side by side into one. Both of them sail it off in there. Bouchard able to keep it wound up on that second lane. And slots into third as, wow, Brad Allison's way off the pace. And Stokes gets by Bouchard. Bouchard had to check up for Allison, who was, I believe, coming out of the pits. And Kyle Gilbert has gotten by David Bigger. And here comes Stokes. And here comes Bouchard. Bigger fighting back on that second lane. Bouchard with fresher tires, able to get a great run off of turn number 4. Going to haul it off into turn number 1 and just sail it off in there. And that's what 8 laps difference on your tires looks like here at the Lady in Black. And the field already getting strung out badly. Closest battle right now is your battle for 15th between Chad Witt and Bob Lacavara. Lacavara just getting back on the lead lap recently. And they've got Dylan Moskowitz behind him. Moskowitz 2 laps down. So Lacavara has to chase it down the track coming off a 2 to try to stay off of Witt. Moskowitz is there. Lacavara going to regroup. Here comes Moskowitz to the inside of Witt. Again, Moskowitz 2 laps down. So that's not a battle for position. And Lacavara looks like he may just be slotting in. Try to play the long game right now. Let's check in with Jordan Berry. As you could throw a blanket over your battle for 10th. 11th. That's Sean Weaver in the 37, Barry in the 34, Pasky in the 7. And there's Francois Pelletier, who's a couple laps down with them. Almost 3 wide. Pasky thinks better of it, backs out of it. Chad Mikos and David Bigger slugging it out right now. That's your battle for 4th. Bigger hanging tough right now. 8-lap difference on his tires as Tanner Coster puts it into the wall going into 3. $38 laps to go right now. Kyle Gilbert still showing the way. Mikos gets it all wrong coming off of 4, has to check up. Here comes Wayne Carroll Jr. Bump drafting at Darlington. Who'da thunk it? And give the 4th slot to Wayne Carroll Jr. Here comes Mikos again. You gotta think Bigger has used up all of the goodie on those Goodyear Wranglers. And another man on the move, Parker Alexander, as he dispatches of Travis Brown at the tail end of this little battle right here. Looks to make quick work of Tanner Coster. Oh!
Yellow, yellow, yellow.
Let's watch what happened to Wayne Carroll Jr. Bangs the wall, tries to save it, gets it sideways, eats the wall, and David Bigger nowhere to go. Just race car to the face. That's a rough one. So, quick check of retirements tonight. Michael Warren has put it on the hauler. Ray Black Jr. is still in the garage area working on that car or truck. Mike Whitaker looks like he's put it on the hauler. And Mark Walker has put it on the hauler. And Tom Wagner has it in the garage area working on it now. It looks like Brad Allison may have put it on the hauler. Well, there goes free paint schemes for everybody. Unfortunately, I don't have to do that now. Shucks. So Wayne Carroll Jr. staying out, Kevin Pasky staying out, Kyle Gilbert winning the battle off pit road. I'm not live again. There we go. Here's Gilbert winning the battle off pit road. Sean Weaver becoming the last car on the lead, or last truck on the lead lap. Dylan Moskowitz getting one of his 2 laps back. Francois Pelletier getting one of his 3 laps back with waiver rounds coming up. And again, kind of surprising that we have not seen a leader try to restart on that second line, considering that that's probably where all the rubber is. And joining us in the booth now, Tom Wagner. Tom, rough night for you, sir.
I have to agree on that, yeah.
But it's a tough night for everybody all around, as it looks like this track is greasy as all get out.
You know, I don't know about these other guys. I haven't really talked to anybody, but this track's just, you know, Darlinton too tough to tame. It really is too tough to tame. I mean, there are times where you're getting loose out of 2, trying to get it saved, and you're just running out of room to get it saved, and you just smack the wall. Going into 1 is very hard. Basically, every single turn in this track is hard.
Well, you're not wrong. As the lights go out on the pace car, as Kyle Gilbert going to have the button one more time. Brandon Stokes, Chris Bouchard, Tanner Koster, Parker Alexander, Chad Mikos, Travis Brown, Nate Seifert, Jordan Berry, and Sean Weaver rounding out your top 10 as the pace car makes the hard left turn onto pit road. And Gilbert holds him down a little bit, finally pulls the trigger, and we are back underway.
Green flag, green flag.
Working lap 117 of 147. Stokes slots in front of Bouchard and now sets his sights on trying to reel in Gilbert. Nobody's really had much for Gilbert tonight.
Yeah, I got to give it to Gilbert. Gilbert's a very talented guy. He's a very aggressive racer. He's very aggressive when it comes to actually racing, but when it comes down to the track, nobody other than Chris Bouchard and Tanner Koster, Ronnie Osmer, those are the guys that might have a fight for him. But Kyle Vincent Gilbert is a very good racer. He knows every track down to the T.
Well, the one who's kind of surprising me is Parker Alexander right now. He's been caught up in about 4 different dumpster fires, not of his own doing. Currently makes the pass on Tanner Koster up into 4th. And Gilbert is starting to gap right now. Already 4/10 to the good over Brandon Stokes. And it looks like Chris Bouchard's just trying to hold court right now in 3rd. But he better not dawdle too much, because here comes Alexander in 4th as Bouchard's starting to reel in Stokes again. And who do I need to yell at this time? Why am I not seeing it? I'm not seeing it. Why am I not seeing it? No. 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 Wasn't you. You're up here in the booth with me.
Ah, 555, Butch Fraser. Ugh.
may have been connection issues on Frazier. No, yeah, it was connection issues and just gets run flat the hell over from another connection issue kid, Dylan Moskowitz. Gets a little... Well, let's take a look, back that up a little bit. Frazier got it just a tick wrong going into the 1-2 complex. And why do I not see him anymore? What the hell is going on here?
Yeah, he kind of blinked out. Quite a while there, actually, he blinked out.
Okay, so here he is going into 1. Gets it wrong, bashes the wall. Chases it down the track to save it. Comes back up on the track. Moskowitz blinks out, comes back, and Frazier thought he was clear. So that just chalked that one up to connection issues. That was kind of wild. As everybody bringing it down pit side. For all purposes here, this should be the money stop, but I doubt it will be.
Look who's got the lead. Brandon Stokes.
And Stokes inheriting the lead, only taking 2. Now, as slick as the track is, especially coming off the corners, is that something you'd consider doing, Tom?
Honestly, if you're not running the car too hard, which really Stokes hasn't been. When was the last caution? A few laps ago? Even that? There's no real reason not to take 2 tires, with there only being half or not even 20 laps to go. So I think he made a good decision. He'll be a little loose, but I know Brendan, he can do it pretty well.
So here's the other question, and it's something we've been kind of wondering about up here all night. If you do have the button when we go back to green, which lane do you choose?
Anytime I started on the outside, I was a dumpster fire. Let's put it that way. I was a straight dumpster fire. So
well,
that's just me.
It looks like Brandon's about to dip his toe into said dumpster fire as he's selecting the outside lane.
Me and you both know how well Kyle's good on that bottom lane.
Well, the thing is, you know, Brandon Stokes is going to have to snooker him to keep him behind him. But look who's also there. You know, you got Parker Alexander starting on that second line too. That's something to keep an eye on, because there's no love lost between those top 4. All 4 of them hate each other. Plain and simple.
I thought Kyle hated everybody, but okay.
Well, you're not wrong, but I mean, there's a respect between some of them, but all 4 of them, you know, would probably drink a gallon of gasoline just to piss on the other 3 if they were on fire.
Yeah, I got to give it to one guy here. Jordan Berry starting 8th on this restart. He has come from back of the back.
He has come from 2 laps down to be in the top 10. And Stokes got the start he needed. Gilbert is in trouble. And so's Bouchard. Oh, and there it is.
Yellow, yellow, yellow.
Nate Siefker going on a Mr. Toad's wild ride. Let's take a look at what happened there. Oh, Chris and Nate had a meeting of the minds coming off of 2. And that looks like it may have possibly... Yep, there it is. There's the dumpster fire we were looking for.
I think he was going to try an old Dale Earnhardt slide job. Just a little bit.
So Chad Witt gets into, it's like the 92. Jesus. James McDavid nowhere to go. This Chad Witt blocks him. Let's see who did get involved in that one. So, as we pause it there, Pelletier gets a piece of it. There's the 8 of Chad Mikos catching a piece of it. Chad Witt catching a big piece of it as he gets into it with the 92 of James McDavid. And Paskowitz tries to thread the needle and catches a piece of McDavid's truck. Let's play it from here. And everybody else behind him doing a great job getting those trucks woed up to not get into the dumpster fire any more than it already was. So my hat's off to the back half of the field on that one. You know, getting those trucks woed up enough to you know, not kill everybody. And the scores are in for James McDavid's pirouette. 9.8, 9.9, 9.7, 6.5 from the Romanian judge. Not happy with the execution.
I give him a 10.
And now I get the blinkies. All right. Thanks, iRacing. You're the best. Welcome to week 13, kids.
So 97. Bringing it down right now, 55, 57, 37, 2. I believe who else pitted on that last one?
Well, Chad Witt had to. That truck was more screwed up than Hogan's Ghost.
I mean, he's been screwed up the whole race. Travis Brown also pitted there, too.
Nate Seeker bringing it pit side. Sean Weaver going pit side. Looks like Bouchard went pit side. Pit farming that one right now. So definitely not the night Bouchard was hoping for. But, you know, you mentioned him earlier. Let's take a quick look at Jordan Berry. Now, again, Jordan running that special paint scheme tonight to commemorate the start of the Humboldt Broncos hockey season getting ready to start up this week. For those of you who aren't aware, a little over a year ago, that team was in a very, very bad bus accident, and many of the members of the team perished. So that team was rebuilding, and this coming week will mark hopefully what will be some form of closure for the Humboldt Broncos family. So hats off to Jordan for putting that truck in the top 5 currently, and thoughts and prayers going out to the Humboldt Broncos organization.
You know, you put it the best way at Pocono with the Xfinity cars last season with them. This league is just such a great group base with paint schemes, running foundations, charities, stuff like PH Aware, like that stuff. Everybody takes a huge hit to it, and it means a lot to us, the drivers, and we try our best to get everybody in there and shown.
Now, speaking of charities, let's talk about your truck real quick. Tunnels to Towers?
Yes.
Talk to us about that real quick.
So the Tunnel to Towers Foundation was founded by the family of Stephen Stiller, who ultimately sacrificed his life tomorrow, 17 years ago. He ran from a Brooklyn firehouse to the World Trade Center and ultimately sacrificed his life. What the foundation does now is they pay out to the families, not just of fallen firefighters, of now war fallen heroes, all that kind of stuff. They do the best they can to keep those families going and trying to do what everyday life is for those families without their, say, father, their mother, their brother, their sister, that kind of stuff. So it hits home for me a little bit. So it's always a good thing to put on my truck, especially in the month of September with the September 11th attacks, the 17th year anniversary coming up tomorrow.
And you know, I didn't realize that tomorrow was the anniversary of that, as it did happen on a Tuesday morning, and that's kind of I've got goosebumps right now thinking about it. And I know those who were around when that did happen, you know exactly what you were doing when you heard the news that the first tower was hit. For me, I had actually just started at a local car dealership, and I had just sat down in my first sales meeting, and our receptionist comes running in and says, "A plane just hit the trade center." What? A plane just hit the trade center. And, you know, got back up and went out into the showroom, and sure enough, plane hit the trade center. And as we're all standing there wondering what the hell's going on, we watched the live news feed of the second plane hitting. And
if you don't take away from the race right now, but if you actually look at the bed of my truck, you can see all the timestamps of when the first plane hit the World Trade Center, when the second plane, the Pentagon, when the first tower fell, when the second tower fell. All those timestamps are on the back of my truck.
Well, getting back to the race, Brandon Stokes has gotten by Kyle Gilbert, now sets his sights, and Parker Alexander gets a twofer as Kyle Gilbert brushed the wall coming off of 4, and Brandon Stokes hit the wall in 2, and they're now dealing with the lapper of Francois Pelletier. 13 laps to go. This one's turned into a slugfest. And Gilbert hits the wall coming off of 4 again. Meanwhile, Parker Alexander has flat checked out with 11 to go.
One thing I gotta say about Gilbert is he's, like I said earlier, he's a very aggressive racer, but he can also make mistakes just like everybody else, and when he gets angry, his mistakes start coming. And they don't stop.
And that's one thing I've noticed about Kyle too is, if it's not easy to do so, but if you get into his head, he gets rattled badly. Let's talk real quick about Dylan Moskowitz, back on the lead lap after being 3 laps down at one point. Working on Sean Weaver right now. And that's your battle for 8th. As they've got and Moskowitz blinks out. Definitely not what Travis Brown wanted to see. At 170 miles an hour, you definitely don't want the truck in front of you to start getting the blinkies like he is. Moves to the inside, gives Brown the line. Brown bangs the wall coming off of 2. So this
I feel like it's worse. being the car that's blinking. I've had that happen to me many times tonight, where you don't know where the hell you're going. You just kind of go, okay, well, I guess we're going here. And then hopefully it works out.
Well, when you're in traffic and the car in front of you is just disappears, and you catch the toe off the car in front of them, it's real easy to have that truck reappear in your own in your cockpit. Not what you want to have happen, especially here at Darlington, as right now, Parker Alexander 1.2 seconds to the good. Brandon Stokes sits in second, almost a full second to the good over Kyle Gilbert, who has been the class of the field tonight, has led a ton of laps, and unfortunately, just the chips are not going to fall his way as we are 6 to go.
I don't know if you know this or not, but Brendan Stokes is actually running a throwback scheme to Ricky Hendrick with the Harpoon design.
I was going to ask somebody that, and I wasn't 100% certain. So, tribute scheme to the late Ricky Hendrick, of course, who lost his life in a plane crash. They were going to Darlington that weekend, weren't they?
I believe so.
So, yeah, that's, wow. So 5 to go, next flag ends it. Hopefully we stay green. And unfortunately for you and the rest of the field, you didn't stay green when I put the challenge out there, so no free paint schemes for everybody. And right now, this field's more strung out than a frat boy on a bender, as Parker Alexander almost 2 full seconds to the good. Brandon Stokes almost a full second to the good over Kyle Gilbert, who is almost 3/4 of a second to the good over Tanner Coster, who is 4.5 seconds to the good over Chris Bouchard. So tell me that little fracas that brought out the last caution didn't do a lot of damage to the 28 of Bouchard's truck. And you see the right side of that thing looks like it's been through a war. And another tribute scheme that we did mention earlier, you can see it on the bed there. It does say Rip Stroker Ace. Kevin Paskowitz running the Burt Reynolds tribute scheme tonight.
Baker joining us in the booth for last spin of this. Little correction on what we said earlier. Ricky Hendrick died October 24th, 2004. They were actually going to Martinsville that weekend.
Fair enough, because I do remember that there was a big celebration, and everybody in Victory Lane wore their hats backwards that weekend. I remember that because it was something that Ricky used to do. As checker flags it out, and Parker Alexander coming home with the victory. Brandon Stokes hanging on for second. Kyle Gilbert fading to third. Tanner Coster hanging on for fourth. Bouchard rebounding after being a lap down at one point in fifth. Not really where he was hoping to finish, but all things considered and everything that's gone on tonight, you got to be happy with the top 5 if you're Bouchard. And Kevin Paskowitz in 6th. Let's take a look here. Paskowitz in 6th. Ty Harris hanging on for 7th. Dylan Moskowitz, who was 3 laps down at one point, coming home in 8th. Sean Weaver, who was 2 laps down at one point, in 9th. And Travis Brown rounding out your top 10. But let's take a look at Mr. Parker Alexander, as I need to find the winner button. So we are going to go hunting now for drivers and whatnots and happies. Who do we want to talk to first? And I can't find him because he's not here.
Who are you looking for?
Parker.
Dale Earnhardt.
Yeah, touch me. Helps if you have your actual name in your TeamSpeak name, Parker, but congratulations on battling back. I believe you were 2 laps down at one point.
I wasn't 2 laps. I don't think I went a lap down, but I got a couple speeding penalties, got involved in a little bit of stuff. Hit the wall a couple times pretty hard. Man, that was fun. I love this place.
Oh, that makes one of us. But you definitely got to be happy with the way that felt. Did you know you had it on that last restart?
I was pretty sure I had it. I mean, oh man, I was starting there whenever I was riding behind those two. I was starting to catch them a little bit after a little while, and then I noticed that I think Brandon took 2, and I thought, well, this is my chance. I have to somehow get by them both, and I did.
Yeah, we saw Kyle brush the wall coming off of 4, and you just motored on by like he was stopped. And then you sailed it off into 2. Did you know it was going to stick, or were you kind of, cringing, hoping it was going to stick?
Yeah, they're in turn 2 with Kyle. He was trying to get by Brandon, and he just couldn't get it. And I don't know how. I snuck on the outside of him and made it stick. I tried something like that earlier in the race, and it didn't stick. So I was like, well, here we go. Prepare thou butt cheeks, and made it.
Well, Parker, it was definitely fun to watch you guys put on a show here tonight. Especially the you had a few long green flag runs. You had a few problems early on, but you had some decent green flag runs there towards the end. Not 100% certain where we're going next week because nobody tells me anything.
And this.
Oh boy.
Oh, great. Well, that means I gotta do some hunting for some bump music. Anyways, congratulations on the win. Talk to us your thoughts about going to the D-shaped demon of the Midwest.
Well, we'll most likely be riding on the outside line since that's Kansas. I mean, does that track have progressive banking, or is it just effed up? Like, I don't know.
It's
part from column A, part from column B. But,
oh boy!
But definitely congratulations on the win tonight, Parker. Anybody else you want to thank?
I want to thank Going to the Front Motorsports, man. I got one teammate there, and yeah, he's a good friend of mine.
All right. Well, Parker, again, congratulations, and we'll let you get back up and celebrate.
Thank you.
So there's Parker Alexander, tonight's winner. Hoot, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, you've got our second place finisher, Mr. Brandon Stokes, with you.
There he is.
Hoot, do you have Brandon with us?
Yep, Brandon's down here. What do you think, Brandon?
Man, I'm happy with the second place on that last pit stop there. I took 2 to try to get a little bit of an edge on Kyle, but it didn't last for the whole run there. Probably about 10 to 15 laps, it went away. I didn't think I was going to be able to hold him up anyway, but when I got in the wall, it really turned south for me. But I'm happy with the P2.
Yeah, I was gonna say I was back at the field most of the night and involved in some wrecks and this and that. I didn't see how you was. Were you up front most of the night? Did you get involved in any of the wrecks tonight?
No wrecks. Well, I take that back. I don't know if the caution was for it, but KP got put in the outside wall, and when he yanked it off the wall, I got into his left rear. So that's the only incident that I had, other than a speeding penalty that put me and Parker back there, I think, halfway through or something like that. But overall, it was a decent night, man. I can't complain. Just happy with the way of the night we're in.
Yeah, well, I mean, you got to feel good about not getting into those wrecks, and it's got to be frustrating for you too when you start to get runs and all that going on. Next thing you know, there's another caution out, but it is what it is.
Yeah, the first half of the race was kind of a little disappointing. We didn't have a lot of green flag runs there, but that second part of the race was really, really good in my opinion, with the long runs and all that. I actually brought out a caution coming off a 3. I think I didn't hit the wall as hard as I expected, and I don't really know. It just shot me out the wall, but I just want to throw that out there.
Yeah, well, I was telling the fellas even during practice and during qualifying, we were talking over in the pits, and I told them, I said, this track and races like this, you're gonna have a lot of cautions early, and they're gonna be fast and it's gonna be slow, but when you get in the final third of the race, it's gonna clean up a little bit.
Oh, for sure. The track was real slick, greasy starting the race, and about a little bit before stage 2 ended, it started to gain a little grip, and more so often throughout the race there. But I just want to congratulate Parker on that win, and Kyle for a good race also.
All right. Well, Brandon, again, congratulations on the podium tonight. Looking forward to seeing you next week at Kansas.
Yeah, 10-4 on that. I'd just like to thank Harpoon Design for painting this paint scheme that I ran tonight. I was recognizing Ricky Hendrick, one of his throwbacks from when he was in the truck. And I want to thank my parents and my girlfriend and my brother and sister and you guys up in the booth and KP for running the whole deal. Y'all have a good night, though. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Brandon. So that's Brandon Stokes, your second place finisher. And Guy joining us now, probably one of the most heartbroken guys out on the track tonight. Led the vast majority of this piece, just came up just a tick short, overdrove a couple of the corners late, and was unable to really rebound from it. Kyle Gilbert, your thoughts currently right now, and remember this is a PG stream.
It's all good. It was a fun race. Just dominoes didn't fall my way. Those last couple of restarts, I was able to get underneath Brandon there, and just couldn't complete the pass, and tried to fall in behind him. Parker got in behind me, and beside me rather, and I couldn't get back around him or back up to around Brandon there. Battled back through the field after getting a speeding penalty earlier in the race. I'm satisfied with a third place finish. It gets me into the playoffs. That's ultimately what I was shooting for tonight.
Well, now we were kind of wondering earlier in the broadcast that when you guys were restarting, not too many people were elected. Actually, nobody except for Brandon elected to take that outside line on the restart. Was that a conscious choice, or was it just, hey, I forgot I can change?
Yeah, this is the only league that I run in that has the lane choice, and I always forget about it until the end of the race, and it's always messed me up. It messed me up in the All-Star race too, on the qualifier race.
Fair enough. But the series moves next to one of the tracks where you guys have always put on a really good show, and I hope that streak continues next week when we go to the D-shaped Demon of the Midwest. Of course, we're talking about Kansas Speedway.
Oh, Kansas is one of my favorite tracks. That's where one of my wins in MLE is this season. And Preet actually was running that race, and I was able to beat him there. I love those tracks where you can run right up against the wall, especially like Darlington here.
Well, fair enough, Kyle. Anybody else you want to talk to tonight or thank?
I thank my teammates. Travis, he had a good run tonight. As always, my teammates, Spencer Preet, Mark Arthur, they weren't able to make it tonight. And my sponsor, Top Flight Computers, use promo code TFRacer1 and you get 5% off your build. And that's about it. Thank you guys for broadcasting.
Fair enough. Well, again, congratulations on the podium. Looking forward to seeing you at the start of the playoffs next week at Kansas.
I'll see you then. Thank you.
And joining us now, league owner and chief cook and bottle washer, Mr. Kevin Pasky. Kevin, you got to be happy tonight with it. Putting yourself through the top 10, and I believe you've got a special announcement we've got coming up.
Yeah, that I'm pretty sure if that truck, if iRacing had damage repair graphics, that truck would have been nothing but a giant lump of Bondo and 200-mile-an-hour tape driving around the track. So
I have that graphic if you want it for a street stock.
Maybe. So yeah, to finish 6th, I'll take it for the final season, for the season finale, especially after just having 2 horrendous races the last 2 weeks. So, but yeah, so we have gotten down to it. So, and what we are making a fun Pasky's tradition. We pick our finale with a random draw. So the first time we did it was with the Xfinity cars last season, and we drew Indianapolis, and it was a fantastic race. It was exciting right down to the finish. I think we had the pass for the championship points lead with a lap and a half to go. So in that same vein, we're going to do the same thing, and to explain to everyone out there just what the rules are, we're going to what we do is we take every racetrack we run during the regular season, and it's put in the hat. And this is quite literally, I have a hat, I have names. My wife is going to be on here. My beautiful wife, Karen, is going to be on here in a second to talk to you guys to draw the name.
And for those of you wondering, KP's not kidding. It's actually on the Pasky's Cardiac Sports Series Facebook page. There is a picture of a hat with little strips of paper in it.
Yes, and it's actually Robert Wickens' hat, which, by the way, to Mr. Wickens, I really hope he's recovering and hope that he can get back out on a racetrack soon. But yes, so it is every track we run during the regular season except for Talladega, because Talladega also appears in our playoffs. We have no playoff tracks. They are not allowed. And we have 3, I believe, random tracks, 1 road course and 2 ovals. The 2 random ovals are Twin Ring Motegi and Indianapolis Motor Speedway. And the road course is Sonoma, if I'm not mistaken. So we're going to pick from all of those. And give me 1 second. I'm going to turn it over to my lovely wife, Karen.
As they're handing the headset over, would like to personally thank Karen Paskovich for.
Hello.
I would like to personally thank Karen for allowing KP to all the bullshit that he makes her put up with us doing all this racing stuff. So thank you, Karen.
Well, you're quite welcome.
So, without any further ado, can we have you reach into the hat and announce where we are going to have our season finale?
Yes. I am reaching into the hat. I am drawing. Here, take the hat. Take the hat. Kentucky. Is that good?
Fair enough. So Kentucky Motor Speedway going to be the season finale for Season 2 of the Pasky Sports Cardiac Truck Series. Thanks again, Karen, for putting up with all the crap KP throws your way because of this.
She says you're welcome, guys. She just turned the mic back over to me. She wasn't. She didn't. She was a little gun shy. But so there you have it, folks. The random draw has been completed, and the race is Kentucky.
Well then.
Famous last words. Is that good?
Yeah, that was the best. Is that good? It could be worse. Yeah, it would have been bad if you would have chosen Sonoma, because that just has.
I love Sonoma. That's my track, man.
That has dumpster fire written all over it for season finale.
That is probably the only track I will ever win at.
That is also probably the only track that I would probably refuse to broadcast the season finale from.
I was just about to say that. Yep.
Yeah, I'm kind of glad we didn't draw that one either.
The only way Sonoma would have been fun is if you would have used the drag strip and done like street outlaw style drag racing on the drag strip that you can get access to.
I would be okay with that. But just so everyone knows, she also drew a secondary track, and she drew Twin Ring, so I'm kind of glad that one didn't go either. I really like Twin Ring, but I've never done it in a truck, and I don't know how that would feel.
Twin Ring at night!
No.
Now hold on. For those of you not aware, KP and I, we were coming up with ideas of what to do for an all-star race. And he goes, I want to try the K&N cars. Like, yeah, why not? Twin Ring at night. He goes, okay. The only problem is, you can't see the square root of anything going into turn 3, and you have no clue where you are going into turn 1.
Race cars have stickers, not headlights.
Well, that's the thing. There is a night version of that track.
Actually, I'll say, from my experience, you could see from the exit of turn 4 to about the turn-in point to turn 1 pretty well, and then there's a nice big light in the middle of turn 1 and 2. And then as soon as you pass out of that lump of light, there ain't anything until there's like somebody standing on the fence with a flashlight at the entrance to turn 3, and that's it.
Yeah, and now mind you, we did a K&N series car test, KP and I did, and he goes, yeah, we can't do this. So he changed the session over to day, like put up another session, put it up as day, and immediately picked up a second and a half. Just because he could see where he was supposed to be going. So that's the joke there. But anyways, regular season is in the books. Points should be up within the next couple of days? Question mark?
Yeah, so actually I'll take a look at the points. Pretty much everything is decided, because I'm looking through right now, and actually if you guys give me about 20 seconds, I think I will have the field for you.
Well, getting back to the race we just had, I'm gonna put this out there that there are some races or some tracks that I'm just not a fan of. In sim racing, in real world motorsports, yeah, I love them. In sim racing, not so much. This track is one of them. I love on Labor Day weekend watching me some Southern 500 action. Not so much in sim racing, only because it was like something Hoot and I were talking about earlier. There's no place to hide. If stuff starts happening in front of you, one of two things are going to happen. Either you're going to get lucky, or you're going to be involved in it somehow by either hitting whatever is spinning in front of you or getting run over from behind. And
well, I mean, we all saw what happened to me tonight on that one caution. Made it through, and instantly died. Just by somebody's little mistake.
Case in point.
Yeah, it's just like we were talking about earlier. It's just such a, and I keep using this word. It's a skinny track, and it just things happen. It's just it's so hard to get through. And we actually came the big one there that happened. A bunch of us in the back. I mean, you have to come to a full stop, and you're lucky if you can do that.
And again, like I said in the broadcast, kudos to everybody that was at the tail end of the field when that did take place. That you guys were able to get those trucks woed and not add to the chaos. So, definitely heads up driving for everybody that was at the tail end of the field when the big one happened. But, real quick while we're waiting on KP to come up with the point standings, I do want to mention again that this coming Wednesday night will be the first test race for the brand new BOFA IndyCar Classic Series. Sam Cooper Bennett coming up with that idea. The way that it came about is Top Fuel Racing was taking a week off, and guys were complaining, oh, there's nothing to race. Well, I threw out an idea like, hey, let's just do something crazy. And the original idea was to do Lotus 79s at Irwindale. And then Sam went, you know what? I want to run a Lotus 79 series on Sunday nights. Okay, I'm in. So Irwindale got changed to Michigan, where we will be having the inaugural recruitment race this coming Wednesday, and probably going to do it again on Sunday from I'm not sure where. But if you would like to get an invite to the BOFA Broadcasting Indy Classic Series, go ahead and wait till the live stream is over and drop a comment with your iRacing screen name, and Sam and I will get you added to the list of psychos that are going to be driving the Lotus 79 at all sorts of fun facilities in the iRacing community.
All right, guys, I do have it. And yeah, that does sound like fun, Tony. We will probably be there. I don't know if we're going to be there on a full-time status, but we are going to be there at least part-time.
Well, the good news is it's all going to be fixed setup, so you don't have to worry about not knowing how to set up that car for the different facilities we're going to. But well, KP, what do you got for us as far as who's in and who's out?
All right. Well, obviously our drivers who made it in at the end of the season on wins. We have myself with 2 wins, Kevin Mayhood Pasquich. We have Brandon Stokes, who finished with 2 wins on the season. And then John Jenkins, Tanner Coster, and Christopher Bouchard were all the qualifying drivers who won races. Points, we have Matt Kleinschmidt, Dylan Moskowitz, Jeff Meyer, Michael Whitaker, Sean Weaver, Chad Witt, and our final position will be Kyle Gilbert in 12th.
All right. So
an incredibly strong playoff field. This is going to be it's going to be a little bit interesting. Just so we let everyone know, our requirements are that you have to start one more than half of the regular season races. So we have 16 race regular season. You have to make 9 starts to qualify as a full-time driver. So any driver, we did have, I believe, 4 drivers who won races this season who did not qualify as full-time drivers. And so that's, and other than that, we use, NASCAR's point system. So a win locks you in, and then it goes down to 12th in points from there. And I want to be the first one to congratulate all of our drivers on one heck of a regular season. And we'll start the chase next week at Auto Club.
I thought it was Kansas.
Yeah, we go to Kansas first.
Yes, it's
Yeah,
Kansas.
it's Kansas.
Yeah, don't screw me up like that, KP, because I just did the interviews with all the drivers and they were all looking forward to going to Kansas. Now you're telling me it's Auto Club? What the hell?
No, it's Kansas.
I love being the company mushroom.
I was looking at the schedule incorrectly. It's been a long weekend.
That's one way to
But
put
yeah,
it.
so we'll be going to Kansas, which is always a fun track. It's always a very competitive track for a lot of our guys. So
There's always some good racing that we see from Kansas, too.
there really is. It's a lot of fun. I believe I'll have to check with our resident rule meister Byron, but I believe we will be doing away with stage racing for the playoffs. I'll have to double check with him on that one. It was a decision by our admins to do so. So it's going to be kind of more of the old-fashioned racing. It's going to be out there, race hard for it, and best average finish moves you on.
Well, getting back to the whole stage racing thing, it'd be nice if you could let those of us in the broadcast booth know what the stage segments are.
Yeah.
I had no clue tonight.
We were running a little bit on crazy time tonight, so
sure.
I do apologize. They were supposed to be lap 35 and lap 70. I think they turned into like lap 32 and lap 68. But those were when they were supposed to go.
All right. Well, that's going to about do it for us tonight. Let's take a quick look at our results. As Parker Alexander basically stealing one tonight. Just guessed right on that last pit stop, guessed right on the last restart. Had troubles with Kyle Gilbert had trouble. Brandon Stokes gambled and took 2. Was able to hold on for second. Kyle Gilbert led the most laps tonight. Unfortunately, coming up just a tick short in third. Tanner Koster hanging on for fourth. Chris Bouchard, not the finish he was hoping for, but after all the troubles that he had, and I believe at least at one point he knocked the rear axle out of that truck, coming home in fifth. Kevin Paskowicz coming home in sixth. Ty Harris hanging on for seventh. Eighth was going to Dylan Moskowitz, who Dylan was at one point 3 laps down. So kudos to Dylan for battling back into a top 10 and on the lead lap. Sean Weaver in 9th. Travis Brown coming home in 10th. Nate Siefer able to hang on for the last truck on the lead lap in 11th. Butch Frazier in 12th. Bob Lacavara having troubles all night long. Was, I believe, 4 laps down at one point. Coming home in 13th. Only 1 lap down. Wayne Carroll Jr., big troubles for him towards the end of the race. Lost 2 laps in the pits. Chad Witt in 15th. Johnny Antonucci 16th. 17th going to David Bigger. Francois Pelletier coming home in 18th. Jordan Berry in 19th. Chad Mikos in 20th. 21st was going to go to James McDavid. Brad Allison in 22nd. Tom Wagner in 23rd. Hoop Baker 24th. Mark Walker making his debut, coming home in 25th. Mike Whitaker retiring early in 26th. Ray Black Jr. 27th. And Michael Warren, the last car in the field, in 28th. So that is going to do it for us here tonight from Darlington. Again, and thanks, Tom, for reminding me just a little late that tomorrow is a day that we should never forget. And thoughts and prayers going out to the families of those who were lost in the 9/11 attacks. For all of the Pasky's Cardiac Truck Series family, this is Tony Trapasso saying we will see you Wednesday night from Michigan.
Hey, Tony, if I could throw in one last word.
Nope.